Hey, Lisa here with another edition of Always Looking Up. Had a friend post on Facebook today, what do you do when you're bored? I didn't know how to respond because for the majority of my life, I haven't gone around being bored. If I would ever tell some of my parents that I was bored when I was a child, my parents would have found something around the house for me to do. Clothes to fold, dishes to wash, furniture to dust, carpet to vacuum. So yeah, I learned that I didn't go around saying I was bored, whether I was or not, because I always could find something to do anyway, ever since I could remember. My mother's a piano teacher, and at 4 years old, I have vivid memories of going with her to the large sanctuary of our church and her doing organ lessons, and me as a 4-year-old girl walking up and down the aisle of that huge sanctuary, pretending I was this princess that was getting married, and all this wonderful music was being played during the ceremony as I pranced down the aisle. Yes, I was a creature of imagination and fantasy. You could say that I've lived in a dream world the first part of my life. I really thought that there was good things out there for everybody and that life was wonderful and beautiful. Of course, after I got out of school and grew up, I'm a registered nurse and I worked at the county hospital. That's right, the public hospital, where everybody comes, from the gangbangers to the drug addicts to the illegal and legal immigrants. Yeah, I dealt with it all. Even had my 2 children there. That job took so much out of me. I didn't really have time to get bored at work. So at home seemed like a respite. You go home, you walk in the door, you strip off your clothes, you put them in the dirty clothes hamper, and you rested. Now, I did have fun, but it took a lot out of me to be in that war zone for a decade and a half. And then, of course, then came the 2 kids. And I get such a joke, a laugh, out of reading posts from these young moms and dads and what life is like with their young kids. And I tell them, you know what? You've only just begun, suckers. And they had no idea what being a parent would be like. It's the hardest job ever. It's 24/7. There's no let up. There's no respite. It's 24/7. Even if your kids are off with your grandparents, the grandparents, no, there's no respite. Okay? So there was no time to truly be bored being a parent. Now, in fairness, I will say that I craved adult conversation during that time. Because when you're raising young kids, sometimes you don't get a lot of that adult conversation. So, I am so glad to be at a point in my life where if I'm not working, because I'm working, basically full-time, I can take time to read a book. I read an entire book yesterday after work. I can write a poem and post it with images on YouTube. I can make up a skit. I can sing a song. I can go visit a friend. When you talk about being bored, you got to say, well, what is the thing you love doing best? Well, I'm going to tell you what I like doing best. I like being in the arms of somebody who loves me and cherishes me and thinks the world of me, and I think the world of them. That is my nirvana. That is the times that I live for. I love those times. So other things kind of take second place to that. Creativity is number 2. I love being creative. I would die without the ability to be creative in all kinds of ways. The next thing I'm going to do, interpretive dance. I have not done a lot of dancing on my channel, and even though I've had a head injury, I still love dance. Just not very good at it. Anyway, there's only 2 kinds of people that can be bored. People who are very selfish and people who are not selfish enough. The people who are selfish, that are bored, they're not taking care of their responsibilities. Their kids, their parents, their work, their house. Things are going undone. Relationships are getting left in the dust. Yeah, those people are selfish. And they're only thinking of themselves, which is why they're bored. Then you have the people that are not selfish enough. The people that are always doing something for somebody else so much that it's to an extreme, and they don't take any time for themselves to nurture themselves. So that's the other side of the spectrum. So if you're bored, which side of the spectrum are you on? And if you want to disagree with me, you can. Because if you're not one of those 2 people, maybe you just live in a place that's freaking boring. Maybe you live in a part of the world where there's nothing fun to do. And so when you've exhausted all the things that you love to do, you can't think of anything else to do. So maybe that's part of it. Anyway, there is no time to be bored. So until next time, this is Lisa on Always Looking Up.